It is officially July 1st, so you guys already know what that means. It is time to sit down and talk about my TBR for this month. I'm not going to bore you guys with a long ass introduction. Let's just jump right into this video. If you watched my June reading wrap-up video, then you know that last month I read my first Emily Henry book, Book Lovers, and I absolutely fell in love with her writing. So this month I decided to read two of her other very popular and I feel like very dividing books. Some people love these books, other people absolutely hate them, and I'm just excited to read them. So the first book that I want to read from Emily Henry is Beach Read. Now, again, this is a very popular book. Some people hate it, some people love it. I'm trying to go into it with zero expectations and trying to ignore what everyone has told me about this book so I can form my unbiased opinion on it. This book follows two authors who are polar opposites but are actually in the same life situation. They both are broke and they both are suffering from a writer's block. Augustus and January are summer neighbors. They are living in beach houses that are literally across from one another. One evening they decide to strike up a deal where they decide to swap one another's book genres. So January will write a fiction book and Augustus will write a romance novel. The synopsis on the back is very vague, but I do know that this is a romance novel, so I'm assuming they're going to fall in love along the way. But again, I'm just really excited to read this. Finally, I am so late in reading this. This is definitely on the top of my TBR list for July. The next Emily Henry book that I will be reading this month is People We Meet on Vacation. This one is basically about two best friends, Poppy and Alex, who, similar to the characters in Beach Read, are complete opposites. They actually haven't spoken in about 2 years, but Poppy decides to invite Alex to one last vacation where they can basically attempt to save their friendship and overcome the huge obstacle that made them stop talking 2 years ago. I think this book is actually told from the past, so we get past Poppy and Alex when their relationship is great, and then we also get the present Poppy and Alex where the relationship is strained. I'm assuming, I have no idea. I've tried to stay away from any reading vlogs featuring this book because I didn't want to get any spoilers, so I don't really know the format of the book quite yet. I haven't even looked inside the book or anything. A lot of you guys tell me that this is one of your favorite books. Other people are like, this book is overrated. So again, I really don't know what to expect. I absolutely love Book Lovers. I fell in love with Emily Henry's writing in that book. So if these books are anything similar to that, I feel like I'm going to love them. And then the next book that I want to read this month is Without Merit by Colleen Hoover. Like, come on, I have to throw at least one Colleen Hoover book in here. I've had this book for quite a while and I just haven't gotten around to reading it. This one is about the Voss family is anything but normal. From the perfect older siblings to the little half-brother who isn't allowed to do or eat anything fun. Then there's Merit. She collects trophies she hasn't earned and secrets her family forces her to keep. While browsing the local antique shop for another trophy, she meets Sagan. He's witty and idealistic and sparks renewed life into her until she learns that he's completely unavailable. Merit retreats deeper into herself, watching her family from the sidelines when she learns a secret that no trophy in the world can fix. Fed up with the lies, Merit decides to shatter the happy family illusion that she's never been a part of, leaving them behind for good. But when her escape plan fails, Merit is forced to deal with the staggering consequences of telling the truth and losing the one boy she loves. From reading the back synopsis, I feel like the parents are abusive to their kids, but that's just an assumption that I'm making. I don't really know what to expect reading this book. I am really excited. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about Without Merit. All I know it's a Colleen Hoover book and that is enough for me to read it. So really excited about Without Merit. The next book is The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams. I've been seeing this book pop up a lot on TikTok and Instagram. A lot of people are talking about it. I don't know if it's a new release or if it's just recently become popular. It came out in 2021, so a little over a year. But again, I've just seen this book everywhere recently. It's a fake dating friends to lovers book and it involves two best friends, Nathan and Bree. Bree is in love with Nathan. Nathan just views Bree as his best friend. They have been friends for years, since high school. But after Bree drunkenly tells a TMZ reporter that she's been in love with Nathan for the whole time that she's known him, Nathan's publicist views this as a PR opportunity. So she basically tells Nathan and Bree that that they should fake date in order to garner more attention to Nathan's NFL career. Throughout their fake dating, Bree falls even more in love with Nathan, but then she sees that Nathan is actually enjoying their fake relationship, so she has to decide whether or not to make a move, like an official move, and tell Nathan exactly how she feels, or if she should just keep her feelings to herself. Is it ever too late to leave the friend zone? Discover a heartwarming friends to lovers romance in this expanded edition with an exclusive new chapter and a Q&A with the author. Can't wait to start it. The next book is The Axe Talk by Rachel Lynn Solomon. This one I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it. I really like the cover, which is why I decided to pick it up, if I'm being honest. But then I did read the synopsis on the back and I was like, okay, this actually sounds like it's going to be a really fun book. This book basically follows two radio producers, Shay and Dominic. They are basically enemies. They don't get along at all. Their bosses view this as an opportunity to have them co-host a new radio talk show called The Axe Talk. Since they already hate each other, their producers think that they would be like the perfect dynamic for this radio show, and I think they have to pretend to be exes. That's what I'm gathering from the back, but I'm not 100% sure on that. As the show gets more popular, Dominic and Shay starts developing feelings for one another, and they're not supposed to because they're supposed to hate each other. So they have to figure out how to navigate these new feelings while still maintaining the illusion that they are exes and that they hate one another for their very popular radio talk show. I'm really excited to read this. I feel like I say that about every single book here, but I genuinely am super excited to read these books. I feel like this is going to be a cute little rom-com as well. I think that this is Rachel's first book. I'll let you guys know my thoughts on this book once I read it. This next book should come as no surprise to you guys, and it is A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. This is the fourth book in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. It bridges the events of A Court of Wings and Ruin with the later books in the series, which I guess is the book with Nesta. It's a novella, so it's pretty short, especially when you compare this size to the other books in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. I've heard a lot of people say that they have felt that this book was pretty unnecessary to the series. Like, it doesn't really add anything new, but I really love Feyre and Reese, so I don't know, I feel like I'm going to enjoy this book regardless. I haven't really decided if I'm going to read the next book in the series, which follows Nesta. I'm not a huge fan of her character. I actually find her quite annoying, so I don't know. I'll keep you guys updated and let you guys know what I decide. Really excited to finish up Feyre's and Reese's story. This next book was actually turned into a movie. I think the movie comes out this month or maybe August. I don't know. I have to look up the premiere date, but it is Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. I've heard so many great things about this book, so my expectations are quite high. Everyone that mentions this book says that they absolutely fell in love with it, so I do want to read the book before I watch the movie. I watched the trailer of the movie and the movie looks really good. I'm hoping that the book is even better than the movie. But for years, rumors of the March Girl have haunted Barkley Cove, a quiet town on the North Carolina coast. So in late 1969, when handsome Chase Andrews is found dead, the locals immediately suspect Kaya Clark, the so-called Marsh Girl. But Kaya is not what they say. Sensitive and intelligent, she has survived for years alone in the marsh that she calls home. Then the time comes when she yearns to be touched and loved. When two young men from town become intrigued by her wild beauty, Kaya opens herself to a new life until the unthinkable happens. The record-breaking phenomenon that has captivated more than 12 million readers around the globe. I'm telling you guys, a lot of people love this book, so again, my expectations are quite high, but I do feel like this book is going to deliver. I have a really good feeling about this book. Another book that is highly recommended by you guys is Every Summer After by Carley Fortune. So many of you guys have read this book and told me that I need to read it, but I am scared to read this if I'm being honest. I read Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren last month, and that was another highly recommended book that I did not really enjoy. I didn't think it was anything special. I didn't really connect with any of the characters, and this book seems to be very similar to Love and Other Words. It follows two best friends turned lovers. Something happened in their relationship that causes them to stop talking to one another. 6 years later, after not seeing each other during those 6 years, they reconnect and they have to navigate that huge obstacle that caused them to drift apart, and they have to figure out if their relationship can be given a second chance. Told over the course of 6 years and 1 weekend, Every Summer After is a gorgeously nostalgic look at love and the people and choices that mark us forever. This book goes from the past when the relationship kind of broke apart to the present when they reconnected. I'm hoping that even though it sounds very similar to Love in Other Words, that I still enjoy this book. Hopefully I enjoy reading it. This is a book that I've seen everywhere. Everyone's talking about this book, and it does take place in the summer, so I'm excited to read it because it's going to give me all the good summer vibes. At least I hope it gives me all the good summer vibes. Okay, these next two books are part of a series. So last month I read the first book in the series, which was The Kiss Quotient, and all of these books are from Helen Huang. The second book in the series is The Bride Test. So this one follows Kai, who is autistic. He has a hard time experiencing emotions like love. Because of that, he avoids any romantic relationships. His mother sees that he's avoiding romantic relationships, so she sets out on a mission to get him a male older bride from Vietnam, right? Yeah, Vietnam. That's where Esme comes in. She flies to America from Vietnam. She sees this as an opportunity to better herself and have a chance at a better life. So she sets out to convince Kai that he is capable of loving another person. In the process of trying to convince him that he's capable of all these emotions, she ends up falling in love with Kai. But will Kai return those feelings, and will he be able to fall in love with Esme? That is the $1,000,000 question. Also, I freaking love the name Esme. Isn't that the name of Edward's and Bella's daughter in Twilight? Renesmee? I don't know. But every time I think of Esme, I think of Twilight. But I'm really excited to read this book. Again, I read The Kiss Quotient last month, gave it 5 stars, absolutely loved it. So I do have quite high expectations for this book, if I'm being honest. The third book in the series is The Heart Principle. This one basically follows Anne, who is fresh out of a breakup, and she decides to only have a one-night stands from now on. That is where Quan comes in. They end up meeting, but he's like, I'm not going to be just sex for you, like I actually want to have a relationship with you. Anne is like, what are you doing? I'm not interested. But then tragedy strikes in their life. Not only do they have to fight for a chance at love, but they also have to fight for a chance at survival. I don't know. I don't really know what to expect with this book. I feel like it's very different from the first 2 books where the main characters were autistic. I don't think any of the characters in this book are autistic or on the spectrum or anything like that. So I think this is just a straight rom-com. A lot of you guys have told me that this is your favorite book of the series, so really looking forward to starting that one. Normally I cap off my monthly TBRs at 10 books, but this next book is pretty short, so I decided to add it to the mix. It is Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata. This was actually recommended by one of you guys. After I showed it in my book haul, a couple of you guys told me that you've read this book and you absolutely loved it. So it goes, an international sensation that has sold more than 1 million copies in Japan and was named a Best Book of the Year by US publications. From BuzzFeed to The New Yorker, Convenience Store Woman is the charming and unforgettable story of Tokyo sales clerk Kaeko. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. She is an unusual person, someone who has never fit in, but when she takes a job at a Smile Mart, she finally finds peace and purpose in her daily tasks. But there is huge pressure on her to pursue a career, to find a husband, and she feels forced to take desperate action in order to please the people around her instead of herself. Is there room in this normal world for someone as strange as Kaeko? It's only 163 pages, so very short. Look how cute it is. It's so tiny. I'm excited to start this. I probably will end up reading this first since it's so short. Let me know in the comments below if you have read any of these books. I would love to hear you guys' opinions. Let me know what is currently on your July TBR list. I would also love to know. Honestly, I just love chatting with you guys about books in the comments. So let's have a chat. And that is pretty much it for this July TBR. I am so excited to start reading all of these books. I cannot wait. If you want to hear my opinions on these books, make sure you subscribe, because at the end of July, I will share all the books that I read this month and give you guys my opinions on them. And if you want more book content like this, plus lifestyle vlogs, subscribe. This is the channel for you. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up. It helps me out a lot. Don't forget to subscribe. I would love to have you a part of my little community here on YouTube, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.